Malala, the DCP deputy party leader, might have just opened the scars of Yala killings, either knowingly or unknowingly, by claiming that the people who were shot dead or who were killed during the Malava by-elections were dumped in River Yala by the police. Now, this statement, as much as it might be one of seeking for justice, might be detrimental to the progression of the united opposition. How? We have one principal in the united opposition who is Fred Okengo Matiangi. Fred Okengo Matiangi was a CS for Interior during Uhuru Muigai's regime. It is during this regime that we had River Yala killings, where those who were criticizing the regime were found maimed, killed, and dumped in River Yala. Up to date, there is no conclusive investigation that has been done for their families, friends, and relatives to get justice.
Pale Malava juzi wakati wa by election wameua vijana wetu 14 na wakati walijua kwamba hawa vijana wakiuliwa watapelekwa mochari, walitupwa River Nzoia. Mpaka leo hatujapata mili za vijana wetu 14 just to win an election.
In the same line of thought, Malala did raise a point with regards to how elections are conducted. We saw a huge contingent of police being delivered deliberately into the polling stations during the by-elections, because I believe they were able to do that as the polling stations were few. In general elections like we are going to have in 2027, whereby it will be cutting across the presidential elections, gubernatorial elections, senatorial elections, women representatives, member of parliament, IMCAs, and all that. It will be impossible for government to have that huge contingent of police in every polling station. But again, remember, this government does not stop at nothing to make sure that they clinch power, and they did demonstrate that during the by-elections. In Tanzanian elections, it is alleged that the Tanzanian authorities rejected the order of shooting to kill protesters, and it had to take deliberations of Uganda and Kenya allegedly to give their forces into Tanzania to conduct that dirty job. Now, these three East African leaders, William Samoei Ruto, the president of Kenya, Samia Suluhu, the president of Tanzania, and Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the president of Uganda, they will stop at nothing to aid William Samoei Ruto with their forces, like it has been alleged before during demonstrations that there are forces who come from Uganda to come and aid the Kenyan forces in conducting extrajudicial killings. So, this time, what might be different? All the same, let us not reason like Malala that there will be no enough police men, because this regime will stop at nothing. We only need to be so vigilant to make sure we are protecting the votes.
Anasema kwamba ati 2027 ni lazima, ati lazima apate kiti. Uzuri 2027 kila polisi atakuwa kwa polling station, so hakuna polisi wa kutosha, so kila polisi tutakuwa na polisi wawili peke yake. Hao wanaweza tushinda kweli? Wanaweza tushinda wawili? Ati hii maneno ya goons, kila goon atakuwa amerudi kwao kutafuta kura. So tutadili na William Ruto kama wa Kenya, Sisi tunasema yeye ni one term.
Well, that set aside, could the indicators be showing that Kalonzo Musyoka is the one that the political tune is singing and aligning to him? Because you remember when Kalonzo Musyoka attended the burial of the late former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, we could see Mama Ida Odinga, we could see Ruth Odinga, and the Sia County Governor, James Agribob Orengo, all were communicating similar thing, that Kalonzo is a good leader. For James Orengo, he even challenged him. If anyone thinks he was more of a friend than Kalonzo Musyoka to Raila Amolo Odinga, let them come up, because it is Kalonzo Musyoka that shaved his presidential ambitions 3 consecutive times, equating to 15 years just for Raila Amolo Odinga. What kind of a friend might go to that extent? Mama Ida told Kalonzo Musyoka it is his time to make sure that he leads the people of Kenya, not only the Kamba. He is a national outfitter figure. Going to Ruth Odinga, he communicated the same. Now, even though in what was so-called empowerment meeting in Nyasanda Primary in Ugunja sub-county, we saw leaders castigating those statements indirectly and saying we have more people who are great to Raila Amolo Odinga than Kalonzo Musyoka, opening former scars that it is Kalonzo Musyoka that left Raila Amolo Odinga to go and be the vice president in the second term of Mwai Kibaki's regime. Now, that set aside, yesterday it was the burial of Beryl Achieng, and Moses Kajwang, the senator for Homa Bay, did say that Raila Amolo Odinga, while still alive, did give firm instructions not to castigate Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka in any manner, and that is why he still has Wiper leaders in the Senate. Though he did put a caveat, you have to, or maybe find it in your place to come and tell us, at least there's a secret between you and Raila. Come and tell us what it was. Like, we don't have a problem with you, Kalonzo Stephen Musyoka, but the kind of friends you keep are the ones that are worrying us. Let us get a glimpse of this clip anyway.
Kalonzo, some of us are quite happy to see you. You see, many people have said things that Raila told them. But there's one thing Raila also told us about Kalonzo Musyoka. He told us not to scandalize, not to attack, and not to antagonize Kalonzo Musyoka. And that is why, in the Senate, the deputy leader of minority in the Senate is still Senator Enoch Wambua, a member of Wiper. In the National Assembly, the deputy leader of minority is still the Honorable Mbui, a member of Wiper. Your Excellency, I hope today you will also tell us what you had planned with Raila, because inaonekana kuna kitu mlikuwa mmepanga. Sisi hatuna ubaya na wewe mheshimiwa, and perhaps we only fear some of the friends that you keep, but otherwise, as a person, you are not a bad person.
There is a roundup of the politics that has happened over the weekend, and still more is yet to come. I mean, what's your take in all of this? What do you feel would be the aftermath of Cleophas Malala opening the scars of Yala killings with Fred Okengo Matiangi in the equation being the Jubilee flag bearer in the United Opposition Front. And also Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka being praised by the bigwigs in the ODM party, which is right now considerably being broken down into pieces only for those who can see through the political lens. As even earlier on, Rigathi Gachagua, the leader of DCP, had alleged that William Samoei Ruto, the president, has already bought the ODM party and the deposit already paid to Junet and Gladys Wanga. What's your take as you try to evaluate the whole scenario? Give me your thought in the comment section below. Now, if you love content of this nature and you're watching from my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification button so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Durb Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Durb Radio ndio mpango mzima.